Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first episode of the Sideshows of the Internet podcast, or SOTI. I am your host, Pixelbait. In this podcast, we deep dive into esoteric, eccentric, or otherwise infamous characters or personalities of the internet, often called locals. In this first official episode, and I say official because I've done about 3 unofficial episodes now on individuals such as MC Too Tall, the art project called the Sperm Cube, which was rather disgusting, and then just a quick look at one Christian Weston Chandler and his wonderful creation of Sonotube. But those didn't have as much polish as this, and this really doesn't have any polish to begin with, so you can imagine the quality of those. But for this first official episode, we'll be looking at one Ulillillia, or Nick Smith, an interesting individual that I came across about maybe 7 years ago. It was quite some time ago. And what makes Ulillillia so interesting? Well, that is something that I can't really put into words. So let's just start off with some basic information of this amazing individual. Well, Ulillillia was born in 1984, a wonderful year. He admits to having mental health problems that have plagued him throughout his life, and we'll cover some of the strange quirks of his personality in a little bit. But while these quirks can be seen as potentially linked to autism or Asperger's syndrome, he vehemently denies any link there. He has only a high school diploma, but he is a savant when it comes to programming. It's all self-taught. He has developed his own video game called Platform Masters, and I suggest you guys going and looking up the Ulillillia archive on YouTube, if that is still around, because Ulillillia himself has deleted his channel a long time ago, and look up his videos of Platform Masters. The video game was never completed, but it's quite impressive for someone who's never had any formal training in programming. I would call him an artisan of programming and mathematics, which are definitely linked to autism, but he denies still any link there. So let's just jump right into some interesting topics that I've come to love about Ulillillia. The first thing that you'll probably find besides Platform Masters or his book that he wrote, which we'll get into, are his video game videos. He made so many strange videos about him breaking boundaries and Bubsy 3D or Spyro the Dragon, sequence breaking those games. But personally, my favorite video game related video that Ulillillia had put out was his series about not sequence breaking really, but just power leveling in Final Fantasy 12 at the very start of the game before your party breaks up. It was like 12 hours, maybe like more. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a marathon of him grinding out for hours against this one rare spawn enemy over and over and over again, grinding out levels and job points. And then he went out to farm some rare spawn in some cave for like the best endgame equipment as well. It was fascinating to behold. And when they were releasing the like remastered, I hate calling these things remastered editions of games because they're not really, they're just up-res textures for the games. But anyway, when they were releasing the remastered version of Final Fantasy 12, the only Final Fantasy, I haven't beaten 3. So 12 and 3 I haven't beaten, and I was thinking about getting 12 when it came out and doing the Ulillillia challenge of grinding out levels at the beginning of the game. But I decided against it because I didn't want to waste hours upon hours of my time breaking my brain doing the Ulillillia grind. But that's what I found so special about Ulillillia, is that, I don't know, he just do these crazy things just for the hell of it, and I would never do them personally, but I wouldn't mind watching someone else do it. I don't know, maybe that's something wrong with my brain. But I do encourage you guys to go out and look up the Bubsy 3D videos or the Spyro sequence breaks where he would do like these weird like dash dive glide combinations to get out of bounds and stuff. But yeah, that's our first topic. Our second topic, though, is the book that he wrote. And he's very proud of this book. I mean, I wrote a book myself, but I couldn't get it published, unlike Ulillillia. His book is titled The Legend of the 10 Elemental Masters. And while personally I've never actually read the book myself, I've read snippets of it, and we'll cover some of those, because I feel that gives some unique insight into how he views the world. But essentially, it is a story about one of his imaginary friends, and he has many, named Knuckles, that is like 2 foot tall with like deep magenta fur covering everything. I can imagine it being like a Sonic OC type character, but I'm not entirely sure. But I don't know, the way he writes is crazy to me, and I'm just going to read a passage for you all here. Knuckles casts teleport, and everything appears 3,000 feet above a rural area near the ocean outside Lagos, Nigeria. The ground, upon arriving, cracks apart. 8 seconds later, it caves in, revealing an endless area of dense lightning strikes and sparks that cannot be made out individually. They are generally blue-white, and this is important here, parentheses the hex codes for the colors. So FF, D0, D0, FF, with a few yellow-white, parentheses FF, FF, D0, D0, or blue, parentheses FF, A0, A0, FF. The visibility through them is only about 2 feet apart. They are so bright, 40,000 lumens, that when in camera view, everything else darkens. Parentheses, from the camera adjusting. Now, someone might look at that and just immediately guffaw at how it was written. But I don't know, like, I get like an infinite jest feeling from it. I know that's not his intention here, but like, it is just so esoteric and strange and a different way of writing. I don't know. I haven't read a lot of fan fictions. Maybe this is how fan fictions are written these days. I don't know. But just giving the exact hue for colors and the exact lumens and like the exact distances. I don't know. It's just so strange and a weird way of writing. I don't know. I personally, I don't know. It's just weirdly interesting. I can't really put it into words. But anyway, like continuing on the strange things about his book, and I'm a little jealous, I'm going to be honest. The front cover, he had to illustrate himself. Actually, everything he had to do about this book, he had to do himself. I just reading up on this again after all these years. He published through Lulu, which I believe Chris used for the printing of his like Sonichu comics for a while. I don't know if he got kicked off of Lulu or it was some other one. But anyway, I'm digressing too much here. He had to essentially do everything. Lulu doesn't do anything for you. It's self-publishing, and they don't typeset, they don't edit, they don't provide covers. So he had to do it himself. And he basically wrote algorithms for like literally everything to do with this book. So the cover art, he apparently wrote an algorithm to generate a 3-dimensional like set of objects and the gradient and like all of this stuff related to it. And he wanted the color, the print color, because CMYK color and RGB color, 2 different things. And so what you see on your computer to monitor, which is additive color, is going to be different than what you print, which is subtractive CMYK color. So he wrote an algorithm to actually make it so that when it's printed, it reflects what he sees personally on his computer monitor, because that was very important to him. And apparently he also wrote algorithms for grayscaling of the images with inside his book as well. Let's read some more excerpts from the book, because I do find it really interesting. This is from the first page describing Knuckles a bit, so this can really give you a a mental image of this imaginary friend that Ulillillia had when he was younger, or still has. I'm not entirely sure, but here it is. Knuckles resembles a human, but with differences. Knuckles is neither male nor female, though referred to as a he. 3/4-inch thick, dark violet colored (parentheses FFA000E0) fur covers his entire body. He is only 25 1/3 inches tall, 4 inches wide, and 2.5 inches deep. I'm going to digress here. This is important. We're going to cover his imaginary friends in a little bit, but like they're like pancake size. They're very strange, and I do recommend that you guys do look up Ulillillia stuff. I'm going to say this probably in every one of these podcasts. I don't condone bullying these people. I take a zoo or glass window approach to these locals. I don't really even like calling them locals. They're just strange people, because in the end, like, pretty much everyone on this planet is fucking weird, you know, and you could probably make fun of just about anyone for pretty much anything. But yeah, glass window approach, where I observe from a distance and I don't interact with them, and I don't condone bullying of these people. So please don't do that. But when you do look up Ulillillia, because I do recommend it, and you have to probably go to the archived version of his Ed page for some reason, because Ed's suffering, and you can't actually go to the 8chan lolcow board because 8chan's gone. But you should do some digging to find images of his book cover and his imaginary friends, because they're very interesting. They look like he traced his hand. I don't know. I don't know if there's like some deeper meaning there that his subconscious is trying to get out or whatnot. But continuing on with the description of Knuckles, because I keep digressing. I don't know why. Knuckles gets his name from his large hands, 40% bigger than a human's his size would have. That's this is the first time I've read this segment in my existence of looking into Ulillillia, but that's such a strange statement. 40% bigger than a human his size, and he's like 2 feet tall. So we're talking about like a child's hands. It's just weird to me. But anyway, continuing on, because I keep digressing here and I shouldn't. A reflective, glittery, greenish FFA0FF00 haze, a 0.5 millimeter across, borders his pupil. Knuckles has no nose and a mouth 2/3 as big. 2/3 as big as what? That is a question. 2/3 as big as a normal human's? Because it's not comparing that to his nose. I'm not gonna dig into that. Every other aspect of his is that of what a human would have for his size. Again, about 2 foot tall human, so like a kid. For details on the numerical colors, in parentheses, see Appendix 5. So, I would say it's just so strange how much detail he goes into. And this is the type of stuff that people would harp on, saying that he has autism. And, well, like, I can definitely see that connection there. But maybe he's just, I don't know, that type of brain type, you know. He's just very logical, but not autistic. I don't know. He seems relatively, like, barring all the strange quirks of his personality and his affinity to mathematics and details and logos, like, when it comes to people, he's not that weird. Like, I don't think he struggles with communication with people. So I don't think it's autism. I mean, it might be, but he seems relatively well adjusted. And this is skipping ahead a bit, but eventually Ulillillia will deletes his stuff off YouTube. I don't know if his website's still up as well. He stops playing video games, and he, maybe not altogether, but mostly, and then he stops working on his video game and gets a job. And he starts conquering his fears. He lives a relatively well-adjusted normal life, and still does today, to my knowledge, except more recently, in the last, I think, year, he's looked back on his video game content and his accomplishments, because I'm friends with him on Facebook. And he's maybe delving a little back into it, which is kind of interesting. I would love to see him finish his game. I know people are going to say that the game is crap or whatnot, and it probably is, but like, the dude's feeling like a passion in his life, you know. And I personally probably will never play the game, but like, I don't know, I just want him to finish it, you know, just like as a complete outsider to this whole situation. I would like to see him finish something that he held to such high regard. And maybe he did, I don't know. I haven't been really following Ulillillia the last really few years. Every now and then I see a photo or something that he posts on Facebook, but that's pretty much it. So I hope he's doing well, you know. But I did mention something here, and I'm talking about him conquering his fears. And he has quite a few fears that he hasn't conquered yet, or maybe has, but I don't know. And quite a few that he has conquered himself. And the big one, I think, I could be wrong here in assuming this, but the big one, he really didn't like water, deep blue water. Like, he did not like swimming. But during the last few like videos that he posted to his YouTube channel before he nuked it, were him going on these, like, I don't know, outings with his family where he's starting to swim, you know, and he personally started conquering that before the eyes of his audience. But let's delve into all these fears. We'll do the ones that he supposedly hasn't conquered yet, according to this Encyclopedia Dramatica page that I had to go to archive fucking Wayback Machine because it's somehow not on Ed anymore. I don't know what Ed's going through right now. Maybe it's similar to the situation that A-chan went through with all those manifestos and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's a targeted campaign at Ed. I don't know. But let's go through some of these, right? So he's afraid of mirrors, stairs, chairs, unfamiliar silverware, spotty dishes and dirty clothes, waiting in line, the words person and people wait. I didn't know this. What is this? So apparently he saw a cartoon when he was younger that said something about saving their people, and that like scarred him for these. I'm not entirely sure. He never explained what cartoon it was that said save my people and had this traumatic experience for him. This kind of goes back to like the perennial eternal mystery of whether he has autism or not, because like this is something that I don't know, like with someone, I don't know, I can see someone with autism potentially having like this negative connotation with this word and freaking out over it. I know I've known plenty of people with autism in my life, probably myself included, but I don't know, like this seems like something that it would trigger someone. Continuing on, he is afraid of whistling and the number 22. He considers it a number of bad luck to him. Again, I don't know where most of these come from. Ulillillia has so much content on the internet. He had his own website that he would basically update, sort of like Terry A. Davis. And he had all these YouTube videos, and then he nuked those. And he has a lot of social media accounts. Like, in my opinion, like Ulillillia was really close to becoming someone on near Chris status. I don't think anyone will ever be on Chris or Christine's level of attention, mainly because Ulillillia himself, I don't know, he just seems like a genuinely nice guy. I don't know if that is how he is in real life, but he's weird and he's interesting to look at and all the things he does, but I don't think he does anything that inherently makes people angry. I don't know why people would get angry at someone else that they have no connection to. I don't know why people get angry with Chris for doing things. I mean, he's one person. Like hundreds, thousands of people on this planet are just like him, and they aren't getting the same level of vitriolic treatment. But I'm not white knighting for these people. Please don't think that. But I don't understand bullying these people. But anyway, the ones he's conquered, as I said, blue water. There's a video that he posted, again, on his YouTube account that got nuked, of him swimming, I think in Hawaii or something, in deep blue water. And like the look on his face, he just seems so happy, you know? And I'm glad he conquered that. But then he's also conquered, apparently, ketchup and mustard bottles. Apparently, they remind him of the lava in Metroid. Wow, I didn't know that. I can honestly see like an elementary version of myself, like being afraid of ketchup and mustard bottles. If that makes any sense, I don't know. Like his connotation to like the lava in Metroid. Like I don't know, like the imagination of a small child seeing that. Personally, like we all develop these strange fears when we're children, and I can see that connection. Though him holding on to such a nonsensical fear into adulthood, that is a little strange. But apparently he conquered it, which is good for him. Sunlit ground, same thing apparently with the ketchup and mustard bottles for Metroid lava. He also conquered his fear of grass, which like a lot of these, like reading into this Ed article on Ulillillia here, a lot of these fears that he has definitely get traced back to video games, which is, I don't know, like unique to me. I don't know, strange. I don't know how else to put it. Like he was going through the dimensional merge before Christine or Chris Chan was. But grass he thought were like spikes from like a video game, and he believed that if he like fell on them he would die. But apparently he recalled in one of his videos that I haven't seen personally that one of his friends pushed him down into the grass and he just laid there waiting to die, but then he didn't die and he was like, "Oh, I'm okay," and thus never was afraid of grass again. And I guess that, I don't know, I don't want to get all like a big brained here because I'm certainly not big brained, but like that's like profound to me in a very dumb way, I guess. I don't know. It says something about our fears that we have, like we all know they're irrational, right? Being afraid of sharks, right? Like 5 people a year die to sharks. They mostly like just leave us the fuck alone. But like people are afraid of them, right? People in landlocked states have a fear of sharks. It doesn't make any sense, but if you put them in a situation where there is a shark by them, maybe they can overcome it. I don't know. It's there's probably a psychological term for like this trial by fire for facing your fears, but like it clearly has some sort of ability to work once you realize that they're just being afraid of these things. It's just irrational. I don't know why I decided to go on that tangent, but you guys are welcome for that. And the last one that he's conquered, according to this lovely Ed page, were shadows in general, and he would view them as like enemies. I don't know, like maybe he linked it like to Shadow Link. I didn't mean to say Link twice, but I did. And he would think that he would lose health if he ran into contact with a shadow, and he would jump and avoid people's shadows. And this is bad, but this reminds me of a kid that I was actually pretty good friends with all the way through high school from elementary school that would do this sort of thing. He would play on the side of the play yard in elementary school, jumping over shadows, running and crushing the ground like Godzilla. Oh man, I don't know. You could make fun of that kid all you want, but like he was having the fucking time of his life, man. He was enjoying his youth. And when I look back to my time in elementary school, I can't remember enjoying like the time recess. I was searching for that word, recess, as much as he was. But moving on to some more interesting things about Ulillillia, and we're going to talk a little bit about his video game of Platform Masters. And I'll say this again, I've said it a million times during this, that you should look up Platform Masters. It isn't a graphical masterpiece here, and it probably isn't like coded very efficiently. It probably doesn't run very well for the way it looks and what it's rendering, but it is impressive to me because my programming skills certainly can't do that, and I've taken like three classes in programming in college. I don't know if that's what to say about the current education system or not, but like this is all self-taught from Ulillillia. He just has this innate understanding of mathematics and programming. And it's just impressive to me. Like, if just with a little polish, just a little polish, he could probably be working as a programmer at like a Fortune 500 company. And I don't know if he would enjoy that very much. But it's just impressive to me to see the growth of this game over time. The implementation of different engines. Like he's develops a better physics engine for jumping. He develops like parallax for the background. Like all the art in the games, I'm pretty sure it's like technically procedurally generated. in the sense that he doesn't have sprites associated with it, but it's rendered by code. I mean, I guess that is technically procedurally generated. Even I mean, I'm not going to cut hairs with it, but it's impressive to me. But it is called Platform Masters, or the Mind Game, as it is like to be known. And it goes for like this 8-bit sort of look, but it's definitely not 8-bit at all. And it's a 2D platformer, based on like zones of him with like his dreams. Like he wants to in reality be able to fly, and hopefully he lives long enough for like actual true VR to come out, because then he can actually live those dreams, which would be good for him. But like it's got like cities and night themes and carnivals, sort of like Sonic, and palm trees like Sonic, and the Bahamas, and even like all these things that he personally wants to experience or wanted to experience. And like, I don't know, it's just crazy to see him make this passion project. It's a shame that the quality of it in the general sense is probably not that great, because if he just honed his autism in just a little bit, I'm going to say he's autism. It's not an insult. It's just, honing his skills. If that bothers you, I apologize. But if he honed his autism sort of like Dwarf Fortress dude, he could probably have something that's a cult hit that people would be playing today, and then someone will offer to buy out his game and so that they could release a Steam version. But anyway, I digress. Platform Masters is low-key Kino videos to watch. Like late in the night, middle of summer, you have nothing else going on. It's a Friday night. You just want to relax. You got the window open. You got a nice cool breeze coming in. And you're just sitting there, listen to Ulillillia talk about his video game and new systems he implemented, and watch him run around in it. I don't know. It's fun to listen to and watch. Definitely more entertaining than this podcast. But I'll work on it, guys. I'll work on it. Another thing that Ulillillia is known for are his dreams. I only know about few of these weird dreams that he has and discussed based on a few interviews that a different YouTuber, I don't know, remember who the heck it was, but they went to Ulillillia and they interviewed him about some things, and they talked about his dreams. And the only dream that I actually remember is the first one on this list, about his mud dreams. But he dreams about like large quantities of like quicksand or like mud, hence the name, with like 4 other people that he has no idea who they are. And that apparently excites him. And that's basically it. They're just in mud. I don't know. Dreams are weird. People are weird. But that's the mud dreams. It's great. And some other dreams, I'm just going to read down this list here. Video game dreams. That's pretty self-explanatory, I've personally had video game dreams. I'm sure anyone who's played large quantities of a singular game, that gets into your subconscious. The worst ones that I personally had was when I was like marathoning Catherine a long time ago for like all the achievements, because I was playing on Xbox. I started getting like the Tetris effect of seeing like blocks move when I was awake, and then I would dream moving blocks. It was quite hellish. But he also had water dreams, but apparently they're not about blue water. And they are nightmares, obviously. These were probably dreams he had before he learned to swim. I mean, it's natural to be afraid of water if you don't know how to swim, because you don't want to die. It's the basic things of the human subconscious. I don't want to die. So I can understand him having nightmares about water dreams. Traveling dreams, apparently it's the largest category. It makes sense because a lot of his desires are reflected in Platform Masters, and he would like to travel. He would like to be able to fly. He would like to be able to move throughout these places. Apparently weird dreams is a category. Fun dreams are a category. Computer dreams about ones and zeros, probably about programming. I can see that. More evidence that he's probably autistic despite saying he's not. But yeah, like I can see getting so involved in programming that it starts entering your dreams. School dreams about his old school experiences, and exploration of unknown land dreams, which again will go back into the category of travel dreams. I mean, overall, for a page about Ulillillia, on Encyclopedia Dramatica, which is filled with half-truths and just things that are meant to dig into someone's personality. That's the whole point of the site. Most of these dreams, I'm going to be honest, or these categories aren't all that weird, though these are just categories. I don't personally know his definitions of these dreams or like his dream journals, because he used to keep those. I don't know if his site's still up. Let me go check that out. Well, I have a archived version of the dreams log page, which is quite detailed. It's just like everything else on this site that I remember. The blue background and cyan text. I don't know why that's the first thing that I remember. Like, I used to go on this every now and then. Same with Terry's weird website. And then, unfortunately, Terry passed, and I can't force myself to go to his Temple OS site anymore. But, I do recommend looking up this dream log. There's a lot here. And again, it's written in the similar style to his book, where it's very logical. Everything's broken up into like very specific categories, and he's got like tables and all sorts of things. Like, I'm just at this random entry 2.1 special abilities mentioned often, and he basically goes into abilities that he has during these dreams that he feels relevant to go into. And if you've watched any of his Platform Master videos, you'll see a lot of these abilities reflected in the game. For one, gliding, fall gliding, which is different, but he goes into it saying that only the acceleration is downward and reduced to 5 miles per hour per second. Wait, what? Reduced to 5 mph per second if initiated just before the ground impact a bounce occurs. It's different. You're going downwards instead of being level or increasing in height or accelerating, I guess. 90-foot jumps, which you'll see if you ever watch any of the Platform Masters videos. That his character has an insane vertical leap. Flash attack gives a quick boost of 100 miles per hour of speed in any given direction. The denser the substance it is used in, the greater the effect becomes. Water gives about 280 miles per hour. Float run, which I guess is just running over water. Speed blast focuses energy behind you in a very sudden burst of speed, up to the speed of sound. It takes 2 seconds to charge up, then a blast wave forms behind. That it seems pretty close to flash attack. It's a bit faster, but it seems pretty similar. Ulillillia, I don't know. Mind radar map, which is basically telekinesis or ability, or telepathy rather. Stomp has 2 forms. Both allow for high acceleration rates. A bounce stomp can be used to bounce up very high, and a pound stomp is used to pound the ground to create a big shockwave. Insta teleport, which is just literally nothing personnel kid, and levy burst, which is a levitation fly sort of thing. And this page goes on, and this is just one page on his website. I haven't actually seen if his website itself is up, because I'm just on archive, because I don't want to get any problems from Ed, and Ed's Ulillillia page is down. But it's taken a long time to load. I don't know if his actual site's up anymore, which is unfortunate. It's not up anymore. He probably took it down when he took down his YouTube page. He basically said fuck it to the internet and made his own decisions in life. He didn't want to deal with it anymore. And that's something that Chris hasn't done. And I think it takes a lot of, I don't know, courage is the right word, but a lot of willpower to give up all of this and basically just start anew. Try to improve yourself in a different way. We're nearing the end of our little exploration into Ulillillia. But I couldn't go a conversation about Ulillillia without first going into what actually introduced him, how I found it myself. It was back when I was still in college. I was watching videos on Video 4chan on SyncTube. It was definitely I don't know. It was one of the versions of SyncTube before it got taken down, and it was his hamburger helper without the meat or without hamburger, and I just thought that was, I don't know. It's just so strange that someone would upload a video of them making hamburger helper without any meat to it. It's basically just macaroni with flavoring at that point. I don't know. That was it. That was a snap moment where I was like, I knew that this guy was going to be a source of great entertainment for me. So if you only watch one video here, or go look at anything related to Ulillillia here, I do recommend you looking up his hamburger helper video, because the way it's filmed, it's avant-garde. It's crazy. It's filmed so high up, if I remember correctly. It's like the video camera's on like some cabinet looking down on him while he makes it, and like he's just standing there like, I don't know, like it's some horror movie victim. It's mind-blowing. It's great. It's Kino. It is top tier. I recommend you all look up his hamburger helper video. But it's not just that. He has strange eating habits in general. Other videos related to that stuff are like, he degreases pizza, and he really, really loves pizza. He would order pizza all the time, and he's got like this plan of attack for degreasing pizza, and he has to do it every time because, like, in his own words, he has OCD, and I can definitely see that from a lot of the ways he reacts to the world. Like me, he might have autism as well as OCD, but he definitely 100% has some form of obsessive compulsive disorder. And it's so important to him for this degreasing pizza that he felt the need to upload, I think, multiple tutorials on it. But I do recommend looking up his food videos if you're not into video game stuff. You know, I can imagine it being a little hard getting through his Bubsy 3D like glitches and Easter egg video, as well as like the Spyro stuff, or getting through that entire Final Fantasy 12 versus Disgaea stuff. I can understand that being hard to get through, or maybe not wanting to see the interview stuff, but like the food stuff is just, it's so interesting, you know? I don't know. I can't explain it in my own words. But hopefully you guys look into it. Ulillillia is a great source of, I don't know, just awe, I guess. You know, he has so much talent in some things. It's just, he's just like this uncut diamond, you know. If just a little bit of work on that computer programming side of things, and he could have, I don't know, developed the next greatest like app or video game or anything, you know. Maybe he could have created VR so that he could play Platform Masters in like actual VR, not this like Oculus stuff. I don't know. It's just it's tragic in some regards, but then it's like a redemption of his degeneracy from video games and all this stuff. I personally haven't elevated myself to give up video games like he did, and you know that, I don't know. He's a very interesting character, and I do recommend looking into him a little bit more if you are interested at all. Just don't harass these people that I cover in this. I'm going to say it again. They don't deserve it. No one deserves to be harassed. Just observe from a distance, you know? I probably could go on and on and on about Ulillillia and his strange videos. And personally, I'm probably going to go back and watch like his Light Bright marble game video that he put out, where he like made this Light Bright game where he would have to, like, I think it was like knock the pegs of the Light Bright out with marbles. And he had a certain way of setting that game up, and he has a tutorial on that. Or I could go into his dreams in detail. You know, there's just a wealth of content there, and you just have to wade through it, and you'll find gems. You know, that's my own personal take. But you know, locales, you know, are very personal in that sometimes you'll find one that speaks to you, and other times you won't. You know, Ulillillia is definitely not everyone's cup of tea. I can tell you that. But with that, I would like to close this podcast out. I hope you all enjoyed this first official podcast of the Sideshows of the Internet, or SOTI, because, you know, that speech impediment of mine makes it really hard to speak sometimes. But if you have any persons you would like me to cover, just shoot me an email at pixelbanebusiness@gmail.com. That is PIXELBANE business@gmail.com. And it doesn't have to be potential topics for this show. You can send me fan mail if you would like, though I don't think I'm going to get any, to be honest. Or, I'm thinking about starting a little ender series for each of these episodes called Spaghetti Stories, where you can send me your own personal stories of you making dumb decisions, and I'll read those, because I don't know, I like reading about personal experiences, and I'm sure the people here like hearing those. Of course, we can keep those anonymous. I won't post your name or say your name. Everything will be anonymous unless otherwise stated. But thank you all for listening. I will see you guys next time.